Turning now to some additional discussion about vaccines from President Biden. Biden took a jab at Americans who are anti-vaccine mandates, mocking the notion of freedom at his town hall event last night.
What does the panel think about that? We'll bring him in today. We're pleased to have Rebecca Walser, financial advisor and wealth strategist, joining us live, as well as John Thomas, a Republican strategist, joining us, and Wendy Patrick, a Newsmax columnist, and so many other titles as well. Good to see everybody here. Before we dive right into this, and Wendy, I'll start with you. Here's what President Biden had to say to those who are anti-vaccine mandates.
The two things that concern me, one are those who just try to make this a political issue. Freedom. I have the freedom to kill you with my COVID. No, I mean, come on. Freedom. Number one. Number two, the second one is that, the gross misinformation that's out there. Like what they're saying about my buddy Colin Powell, and he was my friend who passed away. Colin Powell was vaccinated and he still died. Well, he knew he had serious underlying conditions and it would be difficult. He clearly would have been gone earlier had he not gotten the vaccine.
So many ways you can go with that. Wendy, I'll let you have at it.
You know, as you played it, Sean, I thought exactly that. Gosh, where do I go for this? I mean, obviously, he's not a doctor, but he also is not a very persuasive spokesperson. And that's important because when you're talking about freedom, you want to make sure you don't alienate even your supporters. I mean, he ran on being a uniter, not on being tone deaf. He also, by the way, ran on being anti-vaccine mandate. Let that sink in. If we can't trust what our leaders say, that doesn't make them good leaders. And that also calls into question all of the other kitchen table issues we care about. If he can say one thing today and then promote the opposite tomorrow, as he did with vaccine mandates, why should we trust him on anything? That is a big risk he takes when he does these town halls. Unscripted, I might add.
Yeah, but again, it was a select audience there. And of course, those questions would have been pre-selected. I'm still waiting for a sit-down interview, of course, anytime with Newsmax, but other news organizations as well, I know, are really trying to get it one-on-one. But in that same response to the question, he did take aim at first responders, law enforcement officials, saying that they should be fired if they don't get the vaccine. Look at this.
Should police officers, emergency responders, be mandated to get vaccines? And if not, should they be stay at home or let go?
Yes and yes. I waited until July to talk about mandating because I tried everything else possible. The mandates are working.
John Thomas, your thoughts on the president's remarks there? He also went on to say you have the freedom to kill. Again, if you don't get the vaccine.
In the clip that you played for Wendy, if that wasn't offensive enough for him to insult American people as somehow having freedom for medical decisions is some trivial right that we shouldn't protect, now he's insulting our first responders and their medical decisions. He's acting like an overlord, not president of the United States. He just is so tone deaf and out of touch. But this is consistent with what the far left Democrats continually do. They don't value freedom when it suits their political agenda, whether it's on guns, healthcare decisions, or anything else. And it's just disappointing to see this.
Rebecca Walser, final thoughts from you.
Yeah, I wish I had more time, Sean, because I've got three major problems with this. One, he doesn't understand economics. If 1 in 3 first responders or emergency responders aren't going to show up, we're going to have a massive problem that we can't fix, and that's a big problem. So get it straight. If people aren't going to go to work, that's a big problem. Look at the supply chain. Number two, he doesn't understand the science. The most vaccine-resistant people that are right now are PhD educational level, smart, intelligent people that see that India and Japan both use ivermectin and don't have a COVID problem anymore. People can take ivermectin based on the studies in India and Japan and not have a problem with corona. So maybe they want to give it a little more time. And the third problem is the history. We have a problem in this country in the FDA in the last 10 years of approving things before we had the longitudinal studies to say what they do. And let's just talk about these kids. The 90% efficacy that Pfizer is saying they have, they said that about us too for the adults. And guess what? It's dropped and dropped and dropped. So we have to have booster after booster after booster. So he doesn't have anything going for him. This is a free country, and you will not mandate people to do things they will not do.
All right, we got to leave it at that. Out of time with our panelists, Rebecca Walser, John Thomas, Wendy Patrick. Thank you very much.